Hi, this is Grandmaster Tartar Sauce again, and I'm here to teach you more about the Danish Gambit. If you haven't watched the other videos, I recommend that you watch them in order, with this being the fourth of the 7. This video will show you how to beat Black's good 5th moves: Pawn to c6, Pawn to d6, and Knight to f6. All 3 of these moves are mentioned as refutations of the Gambit in different chess books, although I think that White can get a good position out of all of them. The least seen of these black moves is Knight to f6, attacking this undefended pawn at e4. After that, White should push his pawn to e5. This gains a tempo and space, attacking Knight again. If Black doesn't want to lose a tempo, he could try Queen to e7, to which White should reply Queen to e2. Now Black's gotta move his Knight again, and White is obviously in better position. Black's bishop on f8 is blocked in. This bishop isn't going anywhere very fast. This knight's gotta move, and actually because of the queen and this bishop, the knight's gotta retreat, and White is in much better position right here. Actually, probably that would be better. So usually people who just played Knight to f6 want to play Pawn to d5 now. After White takes the knight with the pawn, Black takes the bishop, Queen takes queen check, King takes queen. White is in great position, because Black's king is in the center, and especially with this pawn pushed all the way. A common line from this position is pawn takes g7, bishop b4 check, knight to c3, and White has gained the advantage because of his attack. If done properly, he'll either gain a lot of material or checkmate. Knight will probably go there, and you can afford to give up this pawn and castle queenside and move the rook to d1 on an open file, attacking the king. Later pushing the knight up here, attacking the bishop with tempo and moving closer to the king. The second of these 3 moves is Pawn to d6. This opens things up for Black's light squared bishop, but closes things for the dark squared bishop. From this position, White should play the very thematic move in the Danish Gambit, Queen to b3. This puts lots of pressure on this diagonal and attacks b7, which means that the light squared bishop can't get out, and that was the whole point of this d6 move. So basically Black has accomplished nothing by that move except he blocked in his dark squared bishop. It's still a very common variation because it looks good before White plays Queen to b3, so I'll go over it in some depth in the 6th video. The final, and I think the best of these continuations, is Pawn to c6. It doesn't open lines for the development of any pieces, and it keeps Black's b8 knight from its best square on c6. The thing that it does do is make Black's pawn structure much stronger. From here, White should play Knight to f3. Then Black has a few different options. The first, and I think the best move for Black, is Knight to f6, to which White should respond with Pawn to e5, and a common line from this position goes Knight to e4, short castle, bishop e7, Queen d4, Knight c5, bishop to a3, Pawn to b6, Knight from b goes to d2, and planning to move the rook to d1, Knight to b3, and the rook goes to e1. That's basically how the development goes. Black will probably castle kingside so white should have an advantage, but very, very slight. I'll go over this more in the games in the 6th and 7th parts. Another thing black can try from here is pawn to d6. From here, white should castle. This is a position where if black makes almost any mistakes, he's sure to lose. For example, if black plays bishop to g4, a possible line for white could go bishop takes f7, king takes f7, knight to e5 check. Remember that the pawn can't take the knight because of the pin to the queen. So king goes to e8, and queen takes g4. White is much better here. He got one of his pawns back, and after playing queen to h5, he should have a great attack, and will win even more material. So bishop to g4 is not a good move. Black should play knight to d7. The main line from this position goes rook to e1, knight to c5, knight to d4, queen to c7, queen to h5, and queen to e7. This is actually a popular position from correspondence games, and is considered to be about equal. Of course, in correspondence play, your opponent will play much more accurately than over the board. Black has a very narrow rope to walk on, while white has a large range of good moves. If you are in a tournament and are in this position as white, you should be very confident. So these are black's good attempts in trying to beat the Danish Gambit. None of them succeed in totally refuting it, and white has a good position out of all of them. Thanks for watching. My next video will be on how to win the Danish Gambit even if black plays one of the 2 best 5th moves. I hope you'll win with the Danish Gambit. This is Grandmaster Tartar Sauce signing off.